Hussein Mohammed arrived in Kenya more than a decade ago from Tanzania, armed with only a dream and the determination to make something of himself. He faced the daunting task of carving out a life in a foreign land.
Kuja Kenya sasa nikaona kazi ya kufanya Kenya ili rahisi sana ni kinyozi.
The easiest thing I thought of doing was grooming men, and it's going well. I don't strain a lot and I have the whole night to rest, unlike some other manual jobs.
It was while working as a barber that Mohammed met Douglas Duberi, an immigrant from Rwanda who had also left his home in search of a better life. But Duberi faced one significant challenge.
I didn't speak English or Swahili. I only knew French and my native Kinyarwanda. Communicating was almost impossible. Sometimes it was difficult to just ask for help, but I was committed to succeed and I knew I could.
Duberi quickly learned the widely spoken Swahili language, and despite the odds, the two friends dreamed of something greater. With their shared love for grooming and a few borrowed tools, the idea of opening their own barbershop was born.
Having your own business is better than being employed because it's easier to plan your finances. Today, Hussein and we are self-employed. We had worked for people since we came to Kenya, but then realized we had enough experience to run our own barbershop.
Mohammed and Duberi are part of the millions of Africans who now reside outside their birth countries. According to the International Organization for Migration, in 2020, over 21 million Africans lived in another African country. Tarek Megeresi, a migration expert, stresses the importance of migrants.
I think we have internalized this European perspective that migrants are always a burden and they have to be a burden. I mean, no, every migrant, every human being in your country is a unit of economic activity, and it's up to us to maximize the benefit of that.
Meanwhile, the number of migrants from outside of Africa who move to the continent remains relatively small, around 2 million, primarily from Asia and Europe. As the migrant numbers grow within the continent, so too does the need for sustainable solutions that respect the dignity and aspirations of every migrant.
These countries usually have a very prohibitive bureaucracy, so it's very difficult once you're there to register yourself to work or to register yourself to extend your stay beyond the immediately mandated legal period. And so this pushes migrants who are there for all sorts of reasons, whether they are studying, whether they are there for treatment, whether they are there working, into informality. And this gives their employers a much greater degree of power over them. It diminishes their right.
Displacement remains a critical issue. South Sudan continues to have the largest number of refugees in Africa, with 2.3 million displaced globally. Conversely, neighboring Uganda hosts nearly 1.5 million refugees, the highest in the region. But with refugees and migrants alike, the hope for a better future remains. Enoch Sikolia, CGTN.